Hello everyone, welcome to the Software Coding Tutorials channel. My name is Tommy. Today I will give you an introduction to .NET Core and microservices. In other words, I will show you the following: how to install .NET Core 3.1, the latest version, SDK, which consisted of .NET Core and ASP.NET Core runtime in a Ubuntu Docker Container. Create an example .NET Core web application running in a Ubuntu Docker Container as a service. This return a JSON package to the receiving application that consumes it. Then I also create a working client C# GUI which consumes the JSON package from the ASP.NET web application. What is microservices? Microservices, also known as the microservice architecture, is an architectural style that structures an application as a collection of services that are highly maintainable and testable, loosely coupled, independently deployable, or organized around business capabilities. And what is .NET Core? And you can find it on Wikipedia. .NET Core is a free and open source managed computer software framework for Windows, Linux, and macOS operating system. It is a cross-platform successor to .NET Framework. The project is primarily developed by Microsoft employees by way of the .NET Foundation and released under the MIT license. Okay, so let's begin this lesson by running our web service container. And let's wait for a minute for it to start up. And you can do an ls. You can see that we're in the shell. Let's make a directory call download, and then cd to download directory. Okay, so our next step is to go to the .NET Microsoft.com/download.NET Core 3.1 website and download the .NET Core 3.1 binary. And this is for Linux, so we want to choose x64 link here, and below what you want to do is copy that to our buffer, and then in the bash shell type wget and the link, and that should automatically start downloading the tar file into our Linux container. Okay, completed. Okay, so our next step is to uncompress the .gzip file. So type in gunzip and then the file name. Okay, and we have this tar file here. Okay, so next step is to create a new directory, and I'm going to call it .NET cd to .NET directory, and I'm going to do a tar xvf download .NET tar that we downloaded earlier, and this will extract everything into this current working directory. Okay. Next step, we want to update a few variables. So vim tilde.bash hrc file, and let's create the .NET variable. So we're going to type in .NET root equal /.net, and right below our file we're going to set the path. So we're going to export the path. So export path equal $.net root path. Okay, let's check our variable again. So .NET root, and we're gonna basically save this file, then source it. Okay, and then if we type .NET from anywhere, it should know where to look for the runtime. Okay, for our next step, let's create a deploy directory. So cd to the root directory, then do make dir deploy, and cd to deploy. Okay, so in our deploy directory, type in .NET new web API -o whether microservice and --no -https. And this will create our whether microservice web application. Okay, so our next step, let's do an ls-ltr cd to whether microservice, and there is a properties directory here. cd to that properties directory. There should be a launch settings.json. We want to open this file up and modify the port number. So do vim launch settings.json, and let's modify the port number here in our application. So change this port from 5000 to 8080, or whatever the port that you expose, and then save the file. Okay. Next, we want to create a batch file to build this. Okay, so we want to do vim build project.batch file, and in here we declare bin bash, do a .NET clean, do .NET publish -c release self contain runtime Linux x64. Okay, let's save it for now and do a change mod +x build project .batch file. Okay, so our next step is to modify the Program.cs, and right above this line we want to type in web builder dot use URLs, and then I'll basically put in the two port numbers. So in this case it's going to be http colon / colon 8081 and http / 8080. Okay, and then save the file. Okay, so our next step is to modify the weather microservice.cs project. So do a nano the weather microservice.cs project file and add the following lines. So under property group we want to add output type is exe, then below the target framework we want to add runtime identifiers, and what this allows us to do is do a build for a particular operating system or platform. So we can do Win10 x64 or Linux x64, and then runtime identifiers. Okay, then we want to add another group, and we're going to add item group framework reference include equal to Microsoft.ASP netcore app, then close the tag and then close the item group, and then Control O to save it and Control X to exit. Okay, so our next step will be to build the application. So type build project. Okay, completed. Okay, now that the program is completed, we need to basically create a configuration file for Apache. So let's cd etc apache 2 conf enable, and we need to create a file called netcore. So vim netcore.conf. Okay, so make sure your file looks exactly like here, otherwise it won't work. You can see the proxy path points to port 8080, and then here is 8080/$1. So everything has to be exactly like this file, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so our next step is to get out of this file and test our configuration to see if it's correct. So type in service Apache 2 restart, and we have an issue. Okay, so since we have an issue, type journal ctl and look up our log file. So journal tail minus 50. And it looks like we have some issue with proxy preserve host. Okay, so I think we want to type in a couple commands here. We need to type in a2 nmod proxy http proxy HTML proxy ws tunnel. Okay, we need to turn these proxies settings to be on. Then do Apache restart. So we can type in service Apache 2 restart. And we still have an error. Okay, let's type in a2 nmod rewrite and restart the Apache. Okay, so the last command is pretty crucial, the rewrite. To enable rewrite, we have to use this command here. Okay, so it took our settings. Okay, so our next step is to cd to etc systemd system and create our Web.service file. So let's do nano Web.service, and I'm gonna go ahead and create this file. Gonna type in the description equal to ASP.NET app service. We're gonna execute start equal to root.net. I'm sorry, it's gonna be .NET, and .NET is our program. And we want to type in the program that we want to start. So I have here is the microservice DLL, this long path here. So I'm going to copy this and enter it here. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then restart equal always, restart second equal 10, syslog identifier equal to just netcore demo, and user is going to be root, environment equal ASP netcore environment equal production, and install, we're going to type wanted by equal to multi user.target. Okay, so let's save that again by save, modify, yes, Control X. Okay, so the next command is pretty important. We need to reload our configuration. So system.ctl daemon reload. Okay, then we say service web start to start our web service. then we want to say system ctl enable web. Oops. Make sure I spell this correctly. And it created a symbolic link here. Next, bring up a browser and type in the IP address, the port number, and weather forecast. And as you can see, we're producing a JSON package. So if you keep on entering it, you see how the weather forecast information change dynamically. Okay, so the next step is writing an application that actually consumes this JSON package.